You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is not a surprise that Syracuse is adding a quarterback in the spring cycle. But go back to what I have been saying for the past week. The question has always been, what type of quarterback is Syracuse looking for? Are they looking for someone that is just going to be a backup? Or are they looking for someone that'll actually get the chance to win the starting job for week 1 against Tennessee? And folks, with this edition of Steve Angeli now official, we officially have our answer to that question. They got themselves a quarterback who, at minimum, is going to make this a quarterback competition, and at maximum is going to be the team's starting quarterback in 2025. Because I'm going to make an assumption. And let me know if you feel the same way. Or maybe you disagree with me. I want to hear from you. Would Steve Angeli really come to Syracuse to hold the clipboard for Rickie Collins? Really? They're actually both very similar. Not in terms of play style. Rickie Collins can scramble. He's got a ton of athleticism. Steve Angeli is your more pro-style quarterback. Doesn't make one better than the other, but they're completely different stylistically. However, their career archetypes are incredibly similar. They were both highly ranked recruits. They both went to programs that are big-time programs. Steve Angeli, Notre Dame. Rickie Collins, LSU. They both, for one reason or another, could not really get on the field. At LSU, well, we know who the quarterbacks of LSU have been over the past couple of years. Garrett Nussmeier last year, Garrett Nussmeier again this year. The year before that was Jaden Daniels. They're pretty good at producing quarterbacks. And with Steve Angeli, we went through the list of quarterbacks in the last segment that he was behind. I don't think either of them want to come to Syracuse football and be the backup quarterback. I understand that head coach Fran Brown named Rickie Collins the team's starting quarterback before the spring game. I understand that. And hey, you know what? Rickie Collins was good enough to beat out Michael Johnson Jr., who ultimately left in the transfer portal. He was good enough to beat Jakari Williams, a redshirt freshman. He was good enough to beat out a couple of true freshmen in Luke Carney and Rich Bellin. But will he be good enough to beat out a guy like Steve Angeli? I will say this, and keep in mind that Rickie Collins does have a hand injury, and that certainly complicates things because even though we have been told that he will be ready for fall camp, maybe the injury really is more serious than what we are led to believe. But let's assume that Rickie Collins will be healthy for fall camp. Collins has the advantage right now. The reason why Collins has the advantage is because he got to Syracuse in December. He has had more time to build rapport with Syracuse, obviously compared to a guy like Steve Angeli, who literally just got here. Rickie Collins has had more time to study the offense and actually run Jeff Nixon's offense, the offensive coordinator, in practice. He has had more time to obviously build chemistry with his receivers, with his tight ends, with his running backs. So right now, at this very moment that I am recording this, Rickie Collins has the edge in a potential quarterback battle. That being said, if Steve Angeli comes into Syracuse and he quickly learns the offense and he quickly develops chemistry with his receivers, his tight ends, his running backs, his offensive line as well, I shouldn't leave that out, that advantage will wipe away so fast. And then it'll purely be about who's the better quarterback, Steve Angeli or Rickie Collins. Both of them are going to have the chance as of right now, both have the chance to be the team's starting quarterback in week 1. But what's really important is this. Syracuse football, as I said in the last segment, they greatly improved their team today. We don't know how they improved their team, but we know that they improved their team with Steve Angeli coming to the Orange. Best case scenario, they got themselves a starting quarterback that's better than what Rickie Collins was going to provide the Orange had he been the starting quarterback. And if you have a better quarterback, you're much more likely to win more football games. Worst case scenario, Rickie Collins, if he actually ends up staying with Syracuse, more on that in the next segment, beats out Steve Angeli for the starting job. And Angeli becomes a really good insurance policy for Rickie Collins because he's been an insurance policy before and he's played quite well. He's thrown 80 career pass attempts and he's looked really good in those 80 career passing attempts, over 70% completion percentage, 10-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, over 11 yards per attempt. So either they got themselves a really high quality backup quarterback or they got themselves a legitimate starting quarterback, and it would make Rickie Collins the backup quarterback, which greatly improves the quarterback room one way, shape, or form.